Also new this hour, apparel manufacturer Fanatics refiled its lawsuit against Arizona Cardinals rookie receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. The amended lawsuit now includes accusations about his father as well as fraud allegations. That's in addition to the original allegation of a breach of contract, which claims Harrison Jr. cost the company millions of dollars for allegedly not fulfilling his obligations from a deal signed back in May of last year. According to ESPN, the deal was for at least $1 million for autographs, signed trading cards, and other marketing opportunities.